What does it mean to be Zaunite? If you think about it, Jinx and Victor are essentially the same character, both inventors, risk-takers, rule-breakers pushing the line for feverish progress. Yet one embraces the Zaunite part of herself, blossoming to be the true representation for the Undercity, while the other gets whitewashed and bleached, failing to become Piltoveran or even recognized as an individual. What makes you different makes you strong is what Powder was taught pre-timeskip. In that era of Zaun, the general meta was to be strong, capable, dependable, and thrifty, much like the leader of the time, Vander. Powder stuck out with little strength or confidence, and her gadgetry seen as more of a gimmick than an asset. It's probable that Victor felt the same way as a child too, hiding away from the other children to immerse himself in machinery. Given that Victor's about 10 years older than Powder, it's no wonder Victor defected to Topside. The Undercity wouldn't value him, much like Singe, who was basically shuttered from society as well. Topside would treat him better, valuing innovation and inventiveness, but they are a tad racist as well. In Victor's canonical backstory, his parents bought him an academy uniform to sneak into Piltover, and his goal was to draw Heimerdinger's attention. Given that Heimerdinger is a naive idealist, he wouldn't discriminate the young upstart, nurturing him to eventually become assistant dean. But it's kinda sad that the only way for Victor to flourish was under his guardian angel. Out there in real Piltover, Victor couldn't get a patron or a name, as he stated himself. It's real lucky he met Jace, another idealist much in the same vein as Heimerdinger. We know Jace is less racist since he went alone to the Undercity to procure illegal technology without batting an eye. Especially when Jace was at his lowest, meeting Victor at that point in his life, they were equal partners with tons of mutual respect. But even as the co-founder of Hextech, Victor was not cherished or even remembered, a testament to Piltover's relationship with Zaun. To be Zaunite for Victor is to embrace the shadows and your initiative and achieve through any means necessary. But for Piltover, to be Zaunite is to be a plague. As for Powder, the regime change from Vander to Silco also shifted social values. Craftiness and science became much more of main staples of Zaun culture instead of the old era embracing simple strength and scrappiness. The new Zaun cherishes experimentation and technology. Body replacements and shimmer bolster Zaunite's strength as their drive to do anything give them the power and edge over Piltover. What makes Zaun different makes them strong, their willingness to do anything. Weakness is strength for the new Zaun, embodied by their technology. Savika's lost arm became her main fighting weapon. Silco's infected eye symbolically gave him the vision to rise to power. And Jinx became the standard of strength within Zaun, especially so after Season 1. People strive to become as inventive, as vicious, as destructive as she is. After all, she's the only one who can actually damage Topside. Jinx defined what it meant to be Zaunite as daughter of Silco, mother of Zaun. No longer has becoming Zaunite been simply about strength when anyone can dope themselves with purple. No, being Zaunite is about being different, imaginative, ruthless, and bombastic. The entire atmosphere of the Undercity shifted, from broody marketplaces to late night raves. The bright neon eye over the last drop shows the shift in values to become a more dynamic Zaun. As Victor throws away his Zaunite to become quiet, sophisticated, and refined, that kills his inner spirit and outer soul. But Jinx embraces the idea of Zaun. A perfect manifestation would be more accurate as she shapes the world around her to become perfect for herself. Shimmer and Hextech, both power systems for the Undercity and Topside respectively. Jinx and Victor are the only one in the series that use both Hextech and Shimmer. Much like Devil Fruits and Haki in One Piece, Hextech symbolically represents the power of dreams and vision, while Shimmer's the power of strength and will. Piltover is a city built around the utopia of progress, while Zaun crafts its residents to be durable and gritty. Take Vander and Vi, both essentially the same character, wanting peace, skilled fighters, protect the family, you get the picture. Whereas Vander has no vision or dream for Zaun, but he relies on his willpower and strength first and foremost to protect those around him, Vander took Shimmer to weaponize his will to change. As for Vi, who strengthened her relationship with Piltover and realized the purpose of protecting those around her, drawing her strength from her dreams first, Vi uses Hextech to materialize her desires of shielding into reality. The Vander of Zaun utilizing Shimmer on Zaunite philosophy, and the Vander of Piltover using Hextech on Piltover philosophy. Now, Piltoverans utilize their technology to bolster their strength. Jace makes a hammer to better swing his dick around, Vi uses gloves to fight better, and Caitlyn uses her rifle to shoot further and more accurately. As for the Zaunites, I mentioned how technology is used for your weakness. Smeech's short limbs get extended with his prosthetics, Finn fixes his jawline, and Shimmer helps those who lack strength or willpower. Deckard, Huck, and Vander took Shimmer because they lacked strength. To let the inner monster out is the philosophy of Shimmer, to draw out anyone's inner and outer strength to achieve what they hope to accomplish. Savika gets second wins throughout her fights with Vi, and Shinj uses Shimmer to prolong life. The Zaunite philosophy of technology is to fix weakness. The Piltoveran philosophy of technology is to bolster strength. Now, look at Victor and strength. Victor brings the Zaunite philosophy to Piltover, using Hextech and Shimmer to fix his greatest weakness, his frail body. In fact, Victor's entire design philosophy of Hextech from the start has been to fix problems, address issues. Now look at Jace, designing the Hex Gates to utilize Piltover's strategic geography to become the trade capital of the world, bolstering strength. Now for Jinx, though Zaunite in spirit, she behaves quite like a topsider. Bombs and weaponry make her the perfect diva of destruction, and her Shimmer and Hextech help her become even more fearsome of a demolitionist. Jinx always held the Piltover philosophy of making your strength stronger, creating a shooting range and boxing machine for herself and her friends. The two philosophies of technology are about the future or the past, to address the faults in the past or to ensure a greater future. Weakness and strength. Victor fears the fleeting future, while Jinx is tortured by the haunting past. This might explain why both are outcasts, possessing clashing mentalities to their respective societies. Victor's retrospective thinking isolates him from the world, constantly progressing, looking at life literally retrospectively from the future in his talk with Heimerdinger. While for Jinx, she is arguably more at home in Piltover, immersed with cutting-edge technology and society ever forward-looking with a short memory. Subconsciously, Jinx yearns to live in topside, gravitating upwards as she dwells in her steel skyrise in the last drop ceilings and reaches catharsis at the highest point of Zaun. The pursuit of height empowers Jinx, inspiring her to strike fear into the peaks of Mount Olympus. As for Victor, the depths strengthen him, finding solace in Sinja's cavern twice and gazing at his homeland from the lower levels of Piltover. Ironically, Zaun is a breath of fresh air for him. Victor's inner Zaunite is a weakness in Piltover, while Jinx's topside mentality brings her strength among the Undercity. Perhaps it's the forward-thinking side of her that allows her to tarnish topside unlike everyone else down there. A Zaunite at heart using Hextech, a topsider at heart taking Shimmer. To use your dreams to fix your past, to use your strength to change the future. That's why Victor and Jinx both pioneered the development of their halves of the city, from the shadows or from the light. To be Zaunite is a question faced by many characters in the series, the peer pressure pushing Vander to initiate war, the decision to accept status quo for Echo, the choice to fight with or against Zaun for Vi, and the option of false independence for Silco. The monstrous potential is an ideal shared only within new Zaun under Silco. Hence, those who choose to become Zaunite. Vander taking Shimmer signaling the regime change, Silco dosing his eye every day to concentrate his vision, Jinx poisoned with pink before taking up her father's mantle. Even Vi tried to integrate herself into the new Zaun, but in the end, Vi and Echo are both not the type to take Shimmer, resulting in their abandonment of the current Zaun under Silco under Jinx. Becoming a monster is not the reason why Vi pushes on, a mistake made once before. For Echo, it's a different story. Cut from the same cloth as Powder, both of them didn't start off as capable fighters, but they were ambitious inventors. But as Powder internalized the new ideal of Zaunite inner strength and truly became a beast herself, Echo retained the primordial identity of Zaun, developing his natural strength and sense of community. In that sense, Echo's philosophy is torn between forward thinking while constantly ruminating about past mistakes, kind of like Heimerdinger wanting to build a city of tomorrow to prevent tragedies of the past. No wonder those two bonded. But Echo does have a vision for what he needs Zaun to be, and it makes perfect sense for the two to develop Hextech together to materialize their dreams into reality, Hextech equaling dreams. Now, the most Zaunite character is actually Singed in the way that he thrives in the shadows alone, much like Zaun always wants to be. In his dialogue with Victor, he declares how we must sacrifice love and legacy for progress. Singed is content living in the shadows, severing bonds with Heimerdinger to focus on his research. Arguably, he is the true embodiment of Zaun and Piltover, caring only about progress with a concrete vision and endless willpower. After all, he created Shimmer, which draws out every Zaunite's inner willpower. Jason Heimerdinger stopped invention when bathed in the public light, and as he warns his successor from taking Shimmer, he reminds him how they will hate him for it, to which Victor weakly rebuts that Jace wouldn't do that. So that quote rings a lot of alarm bells in my head. Lore spoilers incoming. We know Victor and Jace will get into some conflict and that Victor is seen in the Undercity. So what's gonna happen? Well, I want to draw your attention back to Jinx and Jace, who are completely different characters who go through a similar story arc. Both Jinx and Jace are underdogs who want to prove themselves in Act 1 while they grow in power, identity, and determination in Acts 2 and 3. But Victor and Jinx are the same character who go through completely different character arcs. Much of that is because the writers wanted to contrast Victor's story with Jace's story, and they wanted to show us how similar Jinx and Jace are, so naturally Victor and Jinx are going to be opposites. But the contrasts aren't just skin deep. Act 1 is going to be similar to Jace and Powder, both underdogs wanting to prove themselves, but Victor is dying and gets consumed by his invention, while Jinx takes full control of her destructive natures after the time skip. When Victor sees her chomper bombs, he notes that it is inspired, unlike the soulless solutions he invents under the prestige-centered gaze of Piltover. Much like how Jinx is a topsider at heart and the opposite of Victor, Jinx and Victor will continue diverging in story arcs come Season 2. We know Jinx will get embraced by Zaun for her actions, so it's natural Victor will get rejected from Piltover for his shimmer experiments and killing Skye. With Jinx thrusted into war, Victor's banishment will pull him out of the battle. As Jinx finds herself and who she's meant to be, Victor loses himself as he's consumed by the Hex Core. As Jinx confronts her biggest op and turns her into a valued ally, Victor will be betrayed by Jace, following Heimerdinger's footsteps by choosing public image over defending his friend. Victor wanders back into the Undercity spreading goodness. Jinx charges into topside to destroy everything. Jinx meets old enemies in Piltover and continues to destroy, while Victor meets old friends and continues to create. You know, Echo and Singe both need access to Hextech to time travel and create Oriana, machinations only possible through the complex arcane manipulation using the Hex Core. So Victor would be the best plot device to give Hextech access to the two. A reunion with Heimerdinger would do wonders for symbolizing the current state of Piltover, with both being outcasted from it. For Jinx, Hextech has been about destruction, with Shimmer pushing her to discard all her morals. For Victor, Hextech has been about creation, his usage of Shimmer reminding him about his morals again. Much like how their stories converged at the beginning, I find it extremely likely for the two to come together at the end. After all, they are kindred spirits. Perhaps Machine Victor will empathize with Jinx's struggles, his apathy actually what makes him perfect to deal with Jinx's shenanigans. As Jinx gets forgiven, Victor reconciles with Jace. As Victor leaves Piltover and Zaun to spread Hextech to the greater world, Jinx goes with him and leaves Piltover as penance for everything she did in war. And these two souls, embodiments of logic and self-expression, can finally bond over their shared dreams and passions. Don't know about the last part, but everything up until that is how I see Victor and Jinx's story arc goes, as the writers are trying to make us notice the similarities between the two. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video about comparing Victor and Jinx. I really enjoyed writing this one, honestly. Victor and Jinx, probably both one of my favorite characters. Jinx moved quite a bit up there following the 1 hour analysis. And yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think the similarities between Victor and Jinx are just coincidence? Do you think they're destined to meet? They have so many similarities. And maybe Jinx gets an illness and Victor cures that, so who knows? I always enjoy making another Victor video, even though I probably can't make an hour-long analysis about that, but yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, honestly, that helps a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Who's excited for Season 2, huh?